We are here at the Authors Studio at BookExpo America 2013 in New York City, and our guest right now is Stephen Owens, and you have a new book along with Ken Abraham called Set Free.
Yes, sir. The book Set Free is a book about forgiveness and reconciliation. It is my personal story that I walked through as a very young 12-year-old boy who went in and found his dad bludgeoned to death in the floor of his den. Later found that my mother had been arrested in connection with the crime and had hired the man who had carried out the act on my dad.
Now, Stephen, how are you involved with this? I know you're a school teacher, but what's your connection?
My connection is of course, it was my dad, it was my family. We were just a normal Christian family who I thought everything was as a normal family would be. And, you know, to my shock, I walk in my house one night and find my dad beaten to death on the floor.
Wow. Must have been very moving for you, very tough to collaborate on something like this?
Yes, it was. I've come a long way, and that's what the book's about how I've come to this place of eventually, some 20 years later, my mother received a death sentence as a result of the crime. She would have been the first woman to be executed in the state of Tennessee in over 180 years. And I got to a place of forgiveness where I walked in almost over 24 years and was able to offer forgiveness to my mother, and she was able to tell me how sorry she was.
This is awfully tough. What prompted you to, A, want to write about it, and what prompted you to get a hold of your collaborator, Ken Abraham, to write about it?
I wanted to write about it because I think everybody has a place in their life's struggles in which forgiveness is needed to be offered by someone. And my hope is that my story and how I got there can be an example for other people to find that place and find the peace that I have found since I've been able to move to that place of forgiveness.
Now, we're here at BookExpo America. The whole publishing world is here, and how is it being accepted in the publishing world? How is it being accepted by the readers so far?
What readers that I've gotten feedback from has been very good. Talking about where they find their self, it brings to mind their own struggles that they may not even have realized until they read it that they were struggling with. It's obviously very emotional for a lot of people. I think it takes people places that maybe they've never thought about going in their own personal life.
Were there times where you started the process with Ken, you stopped the process because it might have been a little too heavy for you, you started again, you stopped? Tell me about what went on during the process.
We really hit it full-fledged. There were obviously some very emotional moments as I walked back through and had to go through the actions of the night, me walking in and finding him, actually rolling him over, him covered in blood, things like that. But you know what, I felt so at peace with that this was a story that could help a lot of people, and that's what my ultimate goal was, that we really didn't stop at any point, and I paused or thought about not doing it. We spent several months of just great dialogue, and then him being the good writer that he is, wrote the book from what we did.
When you say help people, in what way?
I think people, I think there is a lot of people that have a place that there is everybody has their struggles, and I think there's places of forgiveness in everybody's life. And I think it will help them because I know the peace that I have felt since being able to get to that place of forgiveness.
So you found it to be incredibly cathartic?
Yes, it was. And the thing is I found, again, that we all carry our own burdens, and forgiveness, issuing forgiveness too, is one that some people I don't think realizes is a burden. They feel like somebody should ask for forgiveness, and a lot of times I have found in my journey that the person that needs to give the forgiveness a lot of times carries is the harder part of that.
If I may turn this a little bit, the first time you going through the process of doing a book with Ken. When you watched Ken go through his process, a best-selling author, what were you most impressed by?
The goal was that the book was in my voice, though, and I was very impressed with the way that, and I've even gotten feedback from people that have read it about how they will say that they can hear my voice telling the story when they read it, and I think that is a talent that not necessarily everybody has. That's hard. I mean, I realize that. And
So the book comes at us from your point of
yes,
view.
yes, sir.
It's your voice. Ken writes it as
It's
if
my voice.
you're
Yes.
okay.
It's
I
my
see.
journey.
Okay. This might be a silly question. Did you find the process itself enjoyable, or was it just terribly agonizing at times?
Probably a little bit of both. You know, anytime you're going through and you're getting your own life out in public, even though a lot of this was public knowledge because of court and
Very-
trial,
very
you're right.
raw.
It is, but anytime you do that and you're telling your personal story like this, you're being very vulnerable, and I think you're always uncomfortable with that to a degree. But I had so much faith in that I was doing what I needed to do to help other people, and at the end of it, I think it became even another step of helping me too. And so because of that, I just didn't struggle with the idea of going through it. There was obviously days that were tougher than others.
And your relationship with Ken?
Ken and I first got acquainted because his kids went to the school that I teach at, and he was suggested as someone that might be interested in writing the book when we were putting it together, and it was really good because I was be able the relationship there played a big role in how comfortable we were working together on this project.
I would imagine it's an incredibly bonding experience, yes?
Yes, because you know, basically when you write something like that, I'm sure, and Ken has said it before, you live what you write based on Ken and I's conversations. So he had to be right in the middle of it too, though it was my story.
The author is Stephen Owens, along with Ken Abraham. The book is called Set Free. Why don't you hold that up for the camera there? A grisly story, unfortunately, but a story that you felt needed to be told.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Stephen.